Hey, you know that after 60 days after we installed this doctor's systems, she actually had to turn her calendar off and turn patients away. Not really because there's more burnout, it's more so because the system that we set up actually worked for her. So this doctor is having credentials, did the training, extra degrees, textbooks, seminars, all that stuff, which is actually great. And she actually needed the patients that needed what she offered. We just couldn't connect it to. But she was running her practice more so as most functional medicine practitioners do, which is out of their heads on the calendar, sticky notes, spreadsheets, journals, whatever it is. No really pricing structure and not really any automated review or automated nurture sequence or anything to nurture patients. It's just kind of going in blindly. And that makes a very difficult experience for patients, but this causes more so for the doctor, more high chaos, more low revenue, and typically a ceiling that this provider could not really see but kept hitting. So in this quick video, I'm going to show you what we changed, what we implemented and built for this provider. And it took about 90 days. And this is not typically just a framework. It's going to be more of a case study. So let's get into that. So I think a lot of practitioners end up being in this kind of situation, especially when they are motivated to get going, motivated to get started. They've had feedback from their mentors and their peers, and obviously the training that they've been through. So basically doing everything right clinically. And this is the practitioner actually who's just starting out, let's say in functional medicine in their practice, like a student just coming out of school and knowing the path that they want to go. That was someone like me. Otherwise, it's the practitioner who's been in practice, medical, chiropractic, whatever it may be, for multiple years and knowing that they want to get into this industry. So they kind of end up in the same place, these providers. And the knowledge is there. And I speak to these doctors all the time. They're very smart. They're very brilliant. And that's not really the issue. The issue is just not really the backup, the structure, the systems that we need to do. So in this particular person we talk about, and this is probably common for the provider who's in the same boat, which is there's three typical things that are always missing that I think causes a little bit more chaos than it has to. One's going to be pricing clarity and the margin that's built into that. The other one's going to be like a system for delivering, let's say, lab reviews, a review of what you find on a client's or a patient's lab report. How you lay this out and explain it is going to tell a lot about what the patient does going forward. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is more of a way to nurture patients. I'm talking about maybe automations, emails, messages. What does those providers do to follow up? Because in this day and age, if we are not nurturing and taking care of our patients and being seen as the authority and the leader, we're going to lose them to somewhere else, either online or down the street as a competitor from you. So this is why both of these, or all three of these, actually create more chaos, but also a revenue block. And you may see some progress. You may bring in a lab here or there. Multiple times you'll see doctors that are doing labs, let's say on their families, or a few patients here or there, and they're getting paid, which can fall, I mean, it can make you feel good. But what I typically find is, how do they build this system on top of that? Where's the business go? How do they scale that? Getting a lab here or there or doing one or two a month, it's not going to be really maybe the business transformation that you or some of these providers are looking for. So what we actually do and what we actually built, especially with this provider, was a couple things. One, we want to get clear on what is your ideal patient. And this does not mean like you have to dive in and get very specific and nitpicky and worry, I've been there, that you're only going to see that kind of person. And what about all these other people that need my help? The reason you want to be specific on this is because you're going to help you talk when you do, let's say, marketing, social posts, content that you create. You got to come from the voice that that person is living in their head, like what their fears, what do they worry about at night, what are their joys, what do they do, where do they hang out. So it's nice to have those people in your mind. So at least from a marketing perspective, we can speak to that specific person. So getting that set up is one. Another thing that we recommended to do and we helped with was setting up like a patient journey. So tell me, can you explain to me, if you're that patient, what does this experience look like? And I recommend personally not to do transactional care, which is the come do a visit, do some recommendations, go away, try them, and then call when you're ready or need some help. It loses patients' confidence, it loses their kind of direction, and I think you lose track of where they're at. So we always recommend kind of care plans or programs. But in there is the patient journey. What's that look like from start to finish? And I'd even go as far as to say, what do you want the patient to feel through that journey? Like at the beginning, frustrated, overwhelmed, not sure if this is the right fit. But after speaking with you, maybe an initial consult or whatever it is, they actually feel elevated. They feel excited, they're in the right place. So you can see how that translation of what they feel is what you want, because that's what we're gonna do and build in the practice. The other thing that we talked about doing is getting straight on pricing. I don't know how many times I run into practitioners. I've been guilty of this when I first started as well, is the pricing's all over the place. Well, I'm gonna do a certain lab on somebody and it cost me $200. I feel like that's a lot, so I'm gonna charge maybe $250 because I need a little bit for my time. And then that goes well, and then someone else comes in, maybe they refer a friend, and you're like, well, shoot, maybe I should do $350 now. So you charge $350. And then they complain because they paid more than their friend. See how it just goes on and on. So there's gotta be structure about what we're charging. But the other thing is we gotta make sure that you're getting paid. You are a doctor or a provider that's gone through training and education, and you're providing a great service. So we have to make sure that that's built in a way that gives value to the patient that we're seeking. So we lay out a structure and we kind of walk through, okay, what is the patient journey? Now, what labs do you think we might do? And there's lots of things that we can go into this in a different video, but what's the ones that we can do? List them from your vendor, a list of, let's say, 10 things you might do commonly. Make sure you work in your cost, make sure you work in the shipping charges, lab draw fees. Make sure you work in your time for actually providing the service, because we're all gonna have overhead. Even if you're virtual, you do have some overhead. You have probably, I know this because I'm in the same boat, lots of software expenses and maybe outsourced help and all these kind of things that count as overhead. So once that pricing is clear, then we can confidently say, like we did this provider, okay, I think this is where we need to be from a pricing perspective. Now we can talk to our patient and be confident in that. So that changed it as well, because that wasn't like the walls of being blocked and unsure what to pay for. Am I worth it or not? That's another video too. We have to value what we do and charge for it. We can't undercharge. We're devaluing who we are and what we can do. So once that is built out and once the margin is there, that's going to be great. We have the patient journey laid out. Now, after all that, then the last thing is, what are we doing to nurture these patients? Meaning, when patient, and I say this from experience too, and there's a lot of providers I work with that are similar, and you may be the same way, where you really care about people. You really want to make sure they're getting the right, taken care of, the right experience. I would even say in this day and age, there's a book even called The Experience Economy. We have to give a great patient experience, patient or client experience, no matter what, because this kind of medicine, this kind of work is everywhere, and that is good. But to our advantage, there is so much uncertainty. Like, where do I go? Who do I follow? There's 10 things to do, 10 options out there for one thing. It's just so much noise. We want to create that clarity and structure for patients. So with saying that, we need to be able to have a system and a way that makes our patients feel warm, nurtured, in the right place. This is where I'm talking about making sure we're following up through patients during this, let's say, plan or program. And I've seen this. You have the one doctor who will set up a process, which is good, get the pricing down, which is good. Maybe they're charging $3,500 for this program, which again is good, but there may not be a lot of value in there. Like, the doctor decides not to follow up. They start tracking on Excel spreadsheets, literally on the wall, like writing names on the wall and moving sticky notes around. Don't recommend that at all. That is going to create chaos. And I think what happens is the doctor and the provider underneath worries, I want to make sure these patients are taken care of. I don't know about you, but I can remember multiple days where I lay awake at night worrying that I didn't do enough for somebody, or how's so-and-so doing? Did they take their stuff? Did they refill their supplements? All that. And that shows you care, which is good. But the problem is it's going to create more chaos for you, and it's going to bleed into your personal life and your family and all that stuff. So when this specific person, we implemented a back-end structure that creates nurture, that creates support, that makes the patients heard and felt like they were cared for. And once we get those systems dialed in, This specific provider that I'm using this example had to actually shut her calendar off after 90 days. 60 to 90 days had to shut the calendar off because the structure and the flow is good. Patients see that and they resonate with it and they want to schedule. So there was a lot of referrals, which was great. That's a good thing. This particular person just had other obligations where it was just causing a lot even more stress. So that's great. But we shut it off and the provider was feeling confident because there was more bookings on the schedule. So the things were heading in the right direction and having more of that confidence that, you know what, I don't have to onboard patients and then I have nothing to give them, nothing to do, no follow-up. A lot of providers will follow up in their personal emails, just making sure that they're nurtured and cared for. That's all well and good, but you can only do that for so many patients. When you scale and have a larger operation, you got to make sure you have the back end going. And I don't care if you're a team of 1 or a team like I had, which is up to 20. So that is how we got to the point where we had to actually minimize the calendar, which is great because you want to be in the position of not seeking patients, you want them seeking you. So that is a great place to be. We love it. So every functional medicine practitioner at this stage probably has the same gap. Okay, the knowledge is there. There just maybe isn't the system flow and the follow-up. Patient journey, pricing, nurturing. We haven't talked about marketing yet, but you got to get those basics done. I call it a system. That's the stuff that we need to get set up. That's the things that we hope to set up with providers that we work with. But at the same time, I hope we can just give value to you as the provider in your functional medicine journey. So if questions or comments, go ahead and link and message them below. Go ahead and personally DM if you want the word lab story, one word, lab story. And we can go ahead and contact you and share with you more as to these systems that we can set up and help you with. Otherwise, just what are your thoughts? What's your feedback? What systems do you have set up? What works for you? Everybody's different. I come from experience. I come from works with the providers that we talk to, but you may have other things that work for you. Would love to know. Go ahead, message below. And as always, reach out with any questions or comments. We're always happy to help. Thank you.